today's story, we are going to be focusing on the energy of Libra. So, the two characters that we have here in this particular storyline, one of them appears to be a father figure, possibly married, a husband. I feel like he's the pillar of the family. I feel like he is a disciplinarian. What he says goes. He expects to be respected. The other character is what I feel a younger son. I feel like he may be a teenager and he might be perceived by the father as being a little bit unruly. He doesn't like to follow the rules. He likes to be kind of the rebel, go his own way. And I feel like his father perceives him as being not just someone who's trying to go in his own path and do his own thing. I feel like the father perceives him as being doing the wrong thing, more specifically. Okay. So, I feel like the beliefs and the things that the father stands for may not be what the son shares, or he's not following in those footsteps. Now, I feel like this may be a wealthy father. I feel like he may have risen to a position of authority and respectability, maybe by some type of business or some type of um, commerce or something that he's engaged in that is kind of the foundation of his family legacy. And I feel like because of that, the son is kind of he's using um, that position of what you might call privilege. People tend to look at the kids that you want to say. I don't want to say a spoiled child, but I feel like he's taking full advantage of. He's fully enjoying the fact that his father is a wealthy person of means who was able to build up a legacy and get some type of clout in the community, get some type of respectability. And because of that, the son is able to kind of wear that as a badge, and he's received and given a lot of privilege and a lot of things that maybe other people don't have. And so um, he may tend to get lost in that, maybe not make the best choices, maybe kind of be a rebel and just enjoying that, from that space. Okay. I feel like at some level too, the father may feel like this son might have the potential to tarnish the family image as well, by his behaviors and actions, because of just kind of, he may feel like it's a reckless thing. He may feel like he's kind of wantonly doing things because he's kind of protected by the family name, or he's protected by the family wealth, or the fact that, maybe he's got a trust fund or something and he can kind of get away with things that maybe other people couldn't. All right. So let's see what's going on in the backdrop of this, in the environment. What's the environment? All right, not being able to defend yourself against the actions of others. Okay. Both of these characters, I feel like they're not able to defend themselves against the actions of the other. I feel like at some level, the son feels like he's being boxed in. He's not being understood. He's not being given the opportunity to do what he wants in life and to live his life in the way in which he feels is the best. And that, he's got a lot of things around him that are impacting him and causing him to not be able to move as he sees fit. And I feel like the father feels that the actions of this son are putting him in a position to where everything he's worked for or what he's tried so hard to build, he may feel could be in jeopardy. And whether that's real or imagined, when you're building a family legacy like that, and you expect for children to follow in your footsteps and to carry that mantle, if they don't do it, then I feel like there may be three other siblings, and they might be showing up in a way that's opposite of the son. I feel like they may be actually uh, following in the footsteps of what their father imagined for them, and whether that's a good thing or a bad thing for them, um, I'm not seeing. But I feel like the son is the rebel child, and just his actions alone, maybe he's very flamboyant about it, has the capacity to kind of, create a negative environment or an environment that challenges what it is that the father is trying to set up. All right, let's get some more information about this conflict. All right, following passions. So I feel like the son in the story really wants to follow his own passions. And, maybe he's some type of an artist. Maybe there's some type of, maybe he's into music, or the way that he's showing up in some way is not reflective of what the father saw for him. And maybe he feels like it kind of, it tarnishes in a way the image that he set forth for the family of what they would be. I mean, and it doesn't have to be a negative thing. It could be just as simple as like, or our entire family is a family of doctors, and you want to be a professional traveling comedian or something, or you want to be a professional portrait painter, or you want to join the circus and be a contortionist. None of those things are inherently wrong. It's just different compared to the expectations of certain pockets of culture and society, and beliefs that we can set in place. And so I feel like that might be something that's impacting that. All right, yeah. So I feel like the son wants to follow his passion in arts, but he also wants to be able to have a life full of adventure, and he can, relax and just get the most of life. And I feel like maybe the father is feeling like the son, in his mind, he might think it's kind of lazy, or he's not working hard. And especially if this is a very, if the father was able to build his fortune or his wealth in a very high powered, stressful environment where you have to constantly be on and there's no time for rest and relaxation, this would be completely alien to him, this lifestyle that his son is exhibiting or having. And so I really feel like in this, you have the story of a son who is kind of going against the grain. He's doing his own thing, and it's causing friction in the family because, he comes from, a family legacy of success within a certain realm, within a certain business or some sort of thing. His father has kind of built a little empire, whether that be large or small. It doesn't have to be some huge thing, but just anything that you are able to develop to where the family is, there's a legacy with that. It's a form of, it's an empire of some level. So the issue is deciding if there is a middle ground, or how to allow the son to express himself and be who he is without it impacting negatively the family legacy. Okay. So let's get some information about a resolution for this. All right. So I feel like the resolution to this story is going to be about both parties, both characters really listening to each other and coming to an awareness of what the other is actually saying. Sometimes we listen but we don't hear, or we hear but we don't listen, one of the two. Either way, you can hear someone talking and not be taking in what they're saying, or it's just you're not comprehending where they're coming from. And I feel like that's been taking place on both sides. And so, if something just isn't for the son, I feel like from the son's perspective, maybe this is not his path. His path is not to take on the mantle of this family legacy and to continue in those footsteps. Um, he wants to live a new kind of life. He wants to do his own thing. He wants to kind of, push himself to the edge of what he thought was possible for himself and kind of explore these other realms. But maybe the father can speak to the son and, express to him how, even if he's not necessarily 100% on board, how he could be willing to, um, understand the son's need to do that, while also respecting the work and the time and the effort that he put into laying this foundation of a legacy for the remaining children, um, and for himself and everything that he's done. So that maybe this could be kind of, balanced out a bit, to where the son can live his life and kind of live on the edge and kind of push boundaries without it, indirectly and directly harming the legacy of the son. Maybe creating some healthy boundaries and some separation between those two, and putting energy into that so that the son can do his thing and the father can continue to build his legacy without fear of it being sullied by negativity or drama or gossip or anything that might come hand in hand with maybe the kind of lifestyle that the son is leading. Alrighty, that is what I have for you for the energy of Libra. And I want to thank you for listening in, and I will see you on the next video.